Ever wondered about the dark side of African political history? Brace yourself as we dive into the stories of 20 African leaders whose fates were dramatically sealed. These are tales of ambition, power, and abrupt endings, full of intrigue and unexpected twists.
The time has come to forge new alliances.
From Togo's Sylvanus Olympio to Nigeria's Johnson Thomas Aguiyi Ironsi, we're about to unravel the mysteries behind their assassinations. Are you ready for this historical roller coaster? Number 1. Sylvanus Olympio, Togo's first president. Togo, early 1960s, a time of hope and transition. At the heart of it all was Sylvanus Olympio, Togo's first president, a man of vision, striving to navigate his country through the tides of newfound independence. Olympio, born on September 6, 1902, in Kapando, Togo, was a figure of sophistication and education, having studied in the United Kingdom and Germany. Before his presidency, Olympio was instrumental in Togo's push for independence from French colonial rule. His commitment to economic independence was unwavering, and he aspired to break free from the Franco-African community, a move that was as bold as it was controversial. He envisioned a Togo that could stand on its own, economically and politically. However, his strong stance, especially his resistance to joining the French community, stirred unease among various factions within Togo and abroad. Olympio's attempt to establish an independent currency to replace the CFA franc, used by many former French colonies, was a bold move that many believed aggravated tensions. The climax of his story came on the tragic night of January 13, 1963. In a shocking turn of events, Olympio was assassinated during a military coup, orchestrated by Sergeant Etienne Eyadema, later known as Gnassingbé Eyadema, who later became a long-term ruler of Togo. This abrupt and violent end of Olympio marked a grim chapter in African political history, leaving a legacy of what could have been for Togo's first president. Number 2. Johnson Thomas Aguiyi Ironsi, Nigeria's military leader. Shift the scene to Nigeria in the mid-1960s, a nation in the grip of political turmoil. Enter Major General Johnson Thomas Aguiyi Ironsi, Nigeria's first military head of state. His story is one of a meteoric rise and a sudden, tragic fall. Born on March 3, 1924, in Umuahia, Aguiyi Ironsi was a military man through and through, climbing the ranks to become the most senior Nigerian officer in the Nigerian army. Aguiyi Ironsi came into power on January 16, 1966, following a military coup that overthrew the civilian government. His tenure, though short-lived, was marked by significant decisions, including the controversial Unification Decree, which aimed to centralize government power. This move, intended to foster unity, ironically deepened regional divisions, especially among the Igbo population and the northern region of Nigeria. As head of state, Aguiyi Ironsi's style was direct and authoritative. He was known for his discipline and commitment to national unity, but was often criticized for his heavy-handed approach. His leadership style, coupled with his Igbo ethnicity, fueled suspicions and resentment in a country already deeply divided along ethnic lines. Tragically, Aguiyi Ironsi's reign lasted just 6 months. On July 29, 1966, he became a victim of the very mechanism that brought him to power, a military coup. This coup was largely fueled by ethnic tensions and dissatisfaction with his policies. Aguiyi Ironsi was captured and assassinated by mutinous soldiers, an act that plunged Nigeria further into chaos and set the stage for a brutal civil war. Number 3. Abdirashid Ali Shermarke, Somalia's visionary. In the annals of Somalia's history, Abdirashid Ali Shermarke stands out as a beacon of progressive leadership. Born in 1919 in Haradhir, he emerged as a key figure in Somalia's journey to independence. Shermarke was a man of the people, known for his diplomatic skills and visionary leadership. As Prime Minister from 1960 to 1964, and later as President from 1967, he played a pivotal role in shaping modern Somalia. His tenure as president was marked by efforts to modernize Somalia and strengthen its international ties. Shermark was particularly focused on education and social reforms, aiming to lay the foundation for a prosperous future. His leadership style was inclusive, striving to bridge the gaps between various Somali clans and factions. However, Shermark's presidency was cut short in a tragic twist. On October 15, 1969, he was assassinated by one of his own bodyguards while on an official visit to the northern town of Assassinated. This shocking event plunged Somalia into turmoil, leading to a military coup and the eventual rise of Siad Barre. Shermark's assassination marked a pivotal moment in Somali history, derailing the country's path toward stability and development. Number 4. Richard Ratzimandrava, Madagascar's short-lived leader. Madagascar, a nation with a complex political landscape, witnessed a brief but impactful chapter under Richard Ratzimandrava. Taking office as the head of state on February 5, 1975, Ratzimandrava, a military officer and a man of conviction, embarked on a mission to steer Madagascar toward stability. Born in 1931, he was deeply involved in the military and politics, which set the stage for his ascendance to power. His tenure, however brief, was marked by aspirations of unity and social reform. Ratzimandrava sought to address the ethnic divisions and economic disparities that plagued Madagascar. He was a proponent of decentralization, aiming to give more power to local authorities and communities. Tragically, his tenure lasted only 6 days. On February 11, 1975, Ratzimandrava was assassinated in Antananarivo, the capital city, sending shockwaves across the nation. His assassination led to a power vacuum and subsequent political instability, highlighting the fragile nature of governance in post-colonial Madagascar. Ratzimandrava's short-lived leadership remains a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by leaders in a politically volatile environment. Number 5. François Tombalbaye, Chad's influential president. François Tombalbaye, also known as Ngarta Tombalbaye, was a figure who left an indelible mark on Chad's history. His presidency, which began in 1960, was a period of significant transformation and challenge for the newly independent nation. Born in 1918, Tombalbaye was a teacher-turned-politician, known for his authoritarian style and determination to mold Chad according to his vision. Under his leadership, Chad experienced a mix of modernization efforts and cultural campaigns, the most notable being the Authenticity movement. This initiative aimed to revive and promote traditional, Chadian values and practices, but it also alienated many, particularly in the Muslim-dominated northern regions. His rule became increasingly autocratic, marked by suppression of dissent and the centralization of power. Tombalbaye's reign was tumultuous, marred by rebellion and regional discontent. His efforts to quell uprisings in the north and enforce his policies only deepened the divisions within the country. On April 13, 1975, his presidency came to an abrupt end when he was assassinated during a coup d'état. Number 6. General Murtala Ramat Mohammed, Nigeria's reformer. General Murtala Ramat Mohammed, a name synonymous with dynamic reform in Nigeria, ascended to power amidst a turbulent political landscape. Born on November 8, 1938, in Kano, Nigeria, Mohammed was a military officer with a vision to revitalize a nation marred by corruption and stagnation. His tenure as head of the federal military government of Nigeria, starting in July 1975, was brief yet impactful. Mohammed's leadership was marked by a vigorous campaign against corruption and a commitment to restructuring the Nigerian government. His administration implemented sweeping changes, including the reshuffling of the civil service and the decentralization of governmental authority. His assertive approach to governance brought a sense of purpose and direction to a country in dire need of reform. His foreign policy was equally robust, characterized by a strong stance on African issues, particularly the apartheid regime in South Africa. Mohammed's charisma and decisiveness made him a popular figure both nationally and internationally. However, his revolutionary journey was cut short. On February 13, 1976, General Muhammad fell victim to an assassination during an attempted coup, a stark reminder of the volatility of Nigerian politics at the time. His death left an indelible mark on Nigeria, embodying the hopes and challenges of post-colonial leadership in Africa. Number 7. Marion Ngouabi, Congo's revolutionary. Marion Ngouabi's tenure as the President of the Republic of the Congo was a chapter of revolutionary zeal and transformative politics. Born on December 31, 1938, Ngouabi was a military officer and a socialist ideologue, deeply committed to the cause of Congolese nationalism. Ascending to power in 1968, his rule was the epitome of a revolutionary era for the Congo. Ngouabi's governance was characterized by efforts to implement socialist policies aimed at reducing inequalities and promoting social welfare. He nationalized key industries and resources, striving to redistribute wealth and empower the working class. His vision was to create a society founded on socialist principles, a dream that resonated with many Congolese citizens. However, Ngouabi's presidency was also a period of political unrest and challenges. His policies, while popular with many, also faced opposition and criticism. The internal party struggles and external pressures added to the complexities of his rule. Tragically, on March 18, 1977, Ngouabi was assassinated, an event that plunged the Congo into a period of uncertainty and instability. His death marked the end of a significant, albeit controversial era in Congo's political history. Ngouabi remains a figure of revolutionary fervor and a symbol of the complexities of African leadership in the post-colonial context. Number 8. Tafari Benti, Ethiopia's transitional leader. Tafari Benti's leadership represented a critical transitional phase in Ethiopia's complex political history. Born in 1921, Benti was thrust into the forefront of Ethiopian politics during a period of seismic change. After Emperor Haile Selassie's overthrow, Benti emerged as the head of state in November 1974, symbolizing a shift from imperial rule to a more collective form of governance. His role as chairman of the Derg, Ethiopia's military junta, placed him at the helm of a nation grappling with deep-rooted issues: famine, insurgency, and a demanding socio-political landscape. Benti's approach to governance was one of cautious reform. He sought to balance the demands of a diverse and often divided populace, navigating the complexities of Ethiopian ethnic and regional politics. Under his leadership, Ethiopia embarked on modest reforms, attempting to address some of the long-standing issues while keeping the unity of the nation intact. Benti's tenure, however, was not without controversy. His government faced criticism for its handling of dissent and its approach to regional conflicts. Number 9. Ali Soili Matsashiwa, Comoros's progressive mind. Ali Soili Matsashiwa, the dynamic and unconventional leader of Comoros, brought a wave of progressive ideas to his island nation. Born on January 7, 1937, in Majunga, Madagascar, Soili's presidency, beginning in 1976, was marked by a youthful energy and a desire for radical change. He was a man ahead of his time, advocating for progressive policies that were rare in the region. Soili's tenure was characterized by ambitious social reforms. He promoted secularism and reduced the influence of traditional Islamic courts, a move that was both bold and controversial. His vision extended to education and women's rights, aiming to modernize Comorian society and break away from conservative norms. His economic policies were equally avant-garde. Soili sought to redistribute wealth and implement socialist principles, challenging the status quo and the entrenched interests of the elite. His approach to governance was a mix of idealism and pragmatism, aimed at uplifting the marginalized. Number 10. Anwar Sadat, Egypt's peacemaker. Anwar Sadat, Egypt's third president, was a figure of paradoxes and a man who left an indelible mark on the world stage. Born on December 25, 1918, in Mit Abu al-Kum, Sadat rose to prominence following the death of Gamal Abdel Nasser in 1970. His presidency was a complex blend of political shrewdness, bold decisions, and unexpected turns. Sadat's tenure is best remembered for his daring move to make peace with Israel, culminating in the historic Camp David Accords in 1978. This move, which earned him the Nobel Peace Prize, was a watershed moment in Middle Eastern politics. Sadat's vision for peace was both courageous and contentious, breaking decades of animosity and opening new avenues for dialogue in a region marked by conflict. Domestically, Sadat's policies, known as the Infitah, aimed to open up the economy and attract foreign investment. However, these policies also led to increased inequality and social unrest. Sadat faced growing opposition from various factions within Egypt who were discontent with his leadership and his peace initiatives with Israel. Number 11. William Richard Tolbert, Jr., Liberia's modernizer. William Richard Tolbert, Jr. served as the president of Liberia from 1971 until his assassination in 1980. Born on May 13, 1913 in Bensonville, Tolbert was a figure of transformation and controversy. His rise to power marked a shift from the conservative policies of his predecessor, William V.S. Tubman. Tolbert's presidency was a blend of modernization and tradition. He initiated several economic and social reforms aimed at improving the living standards of the Liberian people. His policies focused on diversifying the economy, promoting agriculture, and encouraging foreign investment. Tolbert was also a proponent of African unity and played a significant role in regional politics, particularly within the framework of the Organization of African Unity, OAU. However, Tolbert's leadership was not without its challenges. His attempts to bridge the gap between the indigenous and Americo-Liberian communities met with mixed success. His administration was criticized for corruption and nepotism, which fueled discontent among various segments of the population. Tolbert's tenure came to a violent end on April 12, 1980, when he was assassinated in a coup led by Master Sergeant Samuel Doe. This coup marked a significant turning point in Liberian history, ending over a century of political dominance by Americo-Liberians and ushering in a period of political instability. Tolbert's legacy remains a complex tapestry of ambitious modernization and the inherent challenges of governance in a diverse society. Number 12. Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's revolutionary icon. Thomas Sankara, often hailed as Africa's Che Guevara, was a charismatic and visionary leader whose impact on Burkina Faso remains profound. Born on December 21, 1949, in Yako, French Upper Volta, Sankara's leadership, beginning in 1983, was a whirlwind of revolutionary change. He was not just a president, he was a symbol of hope and transformation. Sankara's tenure was marked by ambitious socio-economic reforms aimed at eradicating corruption and fostering self-reliance. He prioritized education, public health, and women's rights, breaking new ground in a continent often plagued by conservative norms. His policies, like the National Literacy Campaign and vaccination programs, significantly improved the lives of many Burkinabe. A staunch anti-imperialist, Sankara advocated for African unity and independence from foreign aid. His bold stance against global inequality and neocolonialism resonated across Africa and beyond. However, Sankara's revolutionary ideals and rapid reforms made him adversaries. His presidency was abruptly ended on October 15, 1987, when he was assassinated in a coup led by his close associate, Blaise Compaoré. Sankara's legacy lives on as an icon of African nationalism and a martyr for social justice. Number 13. Ahmed Abdallah Abderrahmani, Comoros' frequent leader. Ahmed Abdallah Abderrahmani, a pivotal figure in Comoros' political landscape, served as the head of state multiple times amidst the nation's tumultuous history. Born in 1919 in Damoni, Abderrahmani's political career was a roller coaster of power shifts, marked by his persistent resilience. Abderrahmani first assumed power in 1975, following the country's independence from France. His initial rule was short-lived, as he was overthrown in a coup the same year. Undeterred, Abderrahmani made a remarkable comeback in 1978, reinstated by mercenaries under the notorious Bob Denard. This marked the beginning of a period characterized by political instability and external interventions. His leadership was seen as an attempt to stabilize Comoros, but it was also criticized for its authoritarian tendencies. Abderrahmani's rule saw efforts to develop the economy and maintain a semblance of stability in a nation struggling with political fragmentation. Number 14. Samuel Canyon. Doe, Liberia's controversial leader. Samuel Canyon Doe emerged as a controversial figure in Liberia's history, embodying the complexities of post-colonial leadership in Africa. Born on May 6, 1951 in Tucson, Doe rose from humble beginnings to become Liberia's head of state following a dramatic coup in 1980. His ascent to power marked the end of over a century of Americo-Liberian political dominance. Doe's regime began with promises of reform and accountability, but soon devolved into authoritarian rule. His governance was characterized by ethnic favoritism, particularly towards his own Kron ethnic group, which exacerbated Liberia's deep-seated ethnic divisions. Doe's administration was also marred by corruption, human rights abuses, and economic mismanagement, leading to widespread discontent. Despite his controversial domestic policies, Doe maintained significant international support, particularly from the United States, due to his anti-communist stance during the Cold War era. This support was crucial for his regime's survival amid growing internal and external pressures. Number 15. Mohamed Boudiaf, Algeria's brief hope. Mohamed Boudiaf's return to Algeria in 1992, after decades in exile, sparked a fleeting moment of hope in a nation mired in turmoil. Born on June 23, 1919 in Massila, Boudiaf was a revolutionary hero, a founding member of the National Liberation Front, FLN, that fought for Algeria's independence from France. His reemergence was a symbol of potential restoration and stability. Boudiaf took the reins of a country deeply entrenched in a civil war, grappling with Islamist insurgency and political strife. He was appointed head of the High State Committee, a position meant to navigate Algeria out of its crisis. Boudiaf embarked on a path of reform, determined to eradicate corruption and militancy. His approach was straightforward and uncompromising, a stance that won him both admiration and enemies. His vision for a peaceful, unified Algeria, however, was tragically cut short. On June 29, 1992, Boudiaf was assassinated during a public speech in Annaba. His assassination plunged Algeria deeper into violence, dashing hopes for a swift resolution to its internal conflicts. Boudiaf's brief tenure remains a poignant reminder of Algeria's unfulfilled aspirations for peace and stability. Number 16. Melchior Ndadaye, Burundi's democratic symbol. Melchior Ndadaye's election in 1993 as Burundi's first democratically elected president was a historic milestone, representing a beacon of hope for ethnic reconciliation and democratic governance. Born on March 28, 1953 in Murama, Ndadaye embodied the aspirations of the Hutu majority, long marginalized in Burundian politics. Ndadaye's presidency, though brief, was a period of significant promise. He sought to build bridges across ethnic lines, promoting inclusivity and unity in a country scarred by ethnic divisions. His policies were geared towards fostering national reconciliation and economic development, aiming to heal the wounds of past injustices. However, Ndadaye's progressive agenda faced resistance. His vision of an inclusive Burundi threatened the status quo, unsettling the entrenched power dynamics. In a tragic twist, his presidency was abruptly ended on October 21, 1993, when he was assassinated in a military coup, an event that ignited widespread ethnic violence and plunged Burundi into a devastating civil war. Number 17. Cyprien Ntaryamira and Juvenal Habyarimana, the plane crash presidents. April 6, 1994, stands as a grim watershed moment in the history of the Great Lakes region of Africa. On this day, an airplane carrying two significant African leaders, Cyprien Ntaryamira of Burundi and Juvenal Habyarimana of Rwanda, was shot down near Kigali, Rwanda. This catastrophic event not only claimed the lives of these leaders, but also served as a catalyst for one of the most horrific genocides in modern history. Cyprien Ntaryamira, born on March 6, 1955 in Burundi, had assumed the presidency in February 1994, following the assassination of Melchior Ndadaye. His tenure was marked by a deepening crisis in a country already reeling from ethnic strife. Juvenal Habyarimana, born on March 8, 1937 in Rwanda, had been in power since 1973. His rule, initially seen as a period of stability, became increasingly authoritarian and ethnically divisive over the years. The plane crash that took their lives was more than a tragic accident. It was a spark that ignited the Rwandan genocide, resulting in the massacre of an estimated 800,000 people, primarily Tutsis, over a span of 100 days. The deaths of Ntaryamira and Habyarimana remain shrouded in mystery and controversy, symbolizing the volatile nature of politics in the region and the devastating consequences of ethnic division and hatred. Number 18. General Ibrahim Bare Mainasara, Niger's military leader. General Ibrahim Bare Mainasara's tenure as the president of Niger was a complex blend of authoritarianism and ambition. Born on May 9, 1949 in Maradi, Mainasara rose to power through a military coup in January 1996, amidst a backdrop of political instability and economic hardship in Niger. His ascent to power marked a decisive shift in the country's governance, reflecting the turbulent nature of African politics in the post-colonial era. Mainasara's rule was characterized by a tight grip on power, with a focus on restoring order and fiscal discipline. He implemented measures aimed at stabilizing the economy, but these were often overshadowed by his authoritarian approach to governance. His regime was marked by restrictions on political freedoms and suppression of opposition, sparking criticism both domestically and internationally. Despite his controversial rule, Mainasara also pursued initiatives to position Niger more prominently on the international stage, seeking to elevate the country's profile in regional and global affairs. His efforts, however, were cut short. On April 9, 1999, Mainasara was assassinated during a military coup, a stark reminder of the precarious nature of military rule and the cyclical pattern of coups in the region. His death left a legacy of unfulfilled potential and the ongoing struggle for stable governance in Niger. Number 19. Laurent Desire Kabila, Dr. Congo's complex figure. Laurent Desire Kabila's rise to power in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, marked a turning point in the nation's tumultuous history. Born on November 27, 1939 in Jadotville, Kabila emerged as a key figure in the rebellion against the long-standing dictator Mobutu Sese Seko. His ascension to the presidency in 1997 was seen by many as a new dawn for a country ravaged by years of dictatorship and conflict. Kabila's rule, however, was mired in complexity and controversy. While he initially enjoyed widespread support for overthrowing Mobutu, his presidency soon faced challenges. Kabila's governance style was criticized for being authoritarian, and he struggled to unite the diverse and fractious country. Under his leadership, the DRC continued to grapple with internal conflicts, economic instability, and external aggression, particularly from neighboring countries involved in the Congo Wars. His policies and leadership style, while aimed at consolidating power and restoring national sovereignty, often exacerbated the DRC's internal divisions. Kabila's presidency was abruptly cut short when he was assassinated on January 16, 2001, in a situation that further destabilized the region. His death marked the end of a controversial chapter in the DRC's history, leaving behind a legacy marked by both hope and despair for the future of one of Africa's largest and most resource-rich countries. Number 20. Emergence of new leadership. Africa's changing political landscape. In the wake of these dramatic and often tragic leadership stories, there emerges a new chapter in Africa's political landscape. This chapter is characterized by a gradual shift towards democratic governance, economic reform, and a greater emphasis on human rights and social justice. Across the continent, a new generation of leaders is rising, ones who are increasingly shaped by global perspectives and the desire for sustainable development. These emerging leaders are often younger, more connected to the global community, and are pushing for reforms that address the needs of their diverse populations. They are navigating the complexities of global economics, climate change, and technological advancement, all while grappling with the historical challenges of post-colonial governance. This new era is seeing an increase in leaders who are democratically elected, reflecting a growing trend towards political pluralism and inclusivity. However, this transition is not without its challenges. Issues of corruption, ethnic divisions, and economic disparities continue to pose significant hurdles. Moreover, the legacy of past conflicts and authoritarian regimes lingers, affecting the pace and nature of political and social change.